What's up YouTube, High Tech Lab here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to change the oil on a Honda EU2000I. Some things you're going to need: a flathead screwdriver or straight blade, some 10W30 oil. It takes pretty much a third of a quart for a 2000i, and maybe a flashlight. You're also going to need a funnel. Mine's a little overkill. Some paper towels, and my favorite, a oil extractor available at Harbor Freight. This simply connects to the compressed air. It builds vacuum. And this is just like when you go to the dentist and they have their little vacuum hose. You get to use this to suck the oil right out of the generator. And you can see it has built a vacuum. Pretty cool. And that was with 80 psi of air. Another tool some people like is this little funnel drain thing, and we'll see what this is used for in a second, but I never use it. Now what you're going to want to make sure of is that this is in the off position, and that's about it for making sure it's safe. You're going to take your straight blade screwdriver, and here on the side compartment there is a screwdriver. The older models used a straight blade only. The newer models can use a straight blade and a Phillips blade. Take this side cover and put it to the side. That's what it is, a side cover. And here you have your dipstick. Now I recommend tilting the generator somewhat on its side and keeping it from tipping while you unscrew this, because if the oil is overfilled, it will pour right out. The oil level is set. As we can see, this oil is a little dirty. The oil level is set by being full when it's coming out of the hole, believe it or not. At this point, I grab my extractor tank and the handy dandy hose, unwrap the hose, and bring it on over. And like I said, it's just like the dentist. You stick it in the hole. Excuse the bad camera work. You open the valve and it begins sucking the oil. Now like I said earlier, this takes about a third of a quart, so this is done pretty rapidly, and I'll be back once the oil is all empty. So here's the part that reminds most people of a dentist. We are just about empty, and as it sucks air, it kinda, you can see some of the stuff going through. It kind of resembles going to the dentist and poking around in there and emptying the oil, or in the dentist's case, your saliva. But either way, I like to go through and make sure I get as much as I can. And as you can already probably tell, if you've changed Honda generator oil before, it gets really messy, because what you would often do is put a pan on the floor and tip the generator on its side, pouring the oil into the pan. This way it's already contained. I don't need to figure out how to clean out a pan full of oil, and it's pretty nice. This was like 150 bucks at Harbor Freight Tools. So as you can see, when you don't get very much left, that's about it. You can go ahead and shut the valve off, and I definitely recommend returning the hose into its storage location, because the residue in the hose will pour out and make a mess. It'll essentially make a mess. So that's done. Next thing I want to go over is this funnel looking thing. This actually screws in where the dipstick screws in, and I strongly encourage you be very careful using these, because they're aluminum and the engine casing is aluminum, and it is possible to strip out the threads. But this is so if you don't have one of these suction tanks, you can just tip the generator on its side and pour the oil out. We've already emptied the oil, so this is not necessary. I don't really care for it. Don't need it. So bear with the camera work, because this is very difficult as one person. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip the generator on its side again and support it with my leg. I'm going to grab the funnel and put it in the hole for the oil. I'm going to unscrew the oil cap and just pour a pretty good dash in there. It looks like about a third of a quart. And once it goes in, damn it, I left the paper towel in the funnel. That's bad. So here we have our funnel in the generator, we have our oil, and we are just going to give it a pretty good dash. That looks like about a third of a quart. And you can always guess and check. So once that oil drains down in there, which it has, I'm going to grab a paper towel. And put it on the bottom of this funnel so any excess oil still coming through does not make a mess. And then simply set the generator on a level surface, and you can look in the hole and see, okay, it's a little low, right? It's not quite pouring out. And if you see the oil right there, when it's level, the oil level will be flush with this edge of the hole. So it needs a little more. So we are going to return our funnel and just give it another dash. So if we look with the flashlight, our generator is filled to the proper level. A little bit is actually poured out. So now we are going to tilt the generator up again, and we are simply going to return the dipstick into the hole. And now we have fresh oil. Why won't this thread? Come on. Don't cross thread the dipstick. That would be bad. There we go. And make sure this is hand tight. And then we are going to take our side cover, throw it back on. Oh, actually I missed a very important step. Here on this generator, I have an hour meter. So it's been 52.7 hours since the last oil change. When I actually installed the hour meter, this generator has about 650 hours. So I'm gonna go ahead and come over here. Now bear with me if it's hard to hear because my other generators are running. I'm gonna grab a Sharpie and I'm gonna go on this inside cover, and I am simply going to write on this cover, oil change, and this was at 52.7 due at 152.7 due every 100 hours 10W30. That way our maintenance record stays with the machine at all times. We can slap our side cover back on and tighten the screw. We can go ahead and turn the choke on, turn the engine switch to on. Close your oil. Let it run for a couple of seconds. Open it back up and verify your oil level. As you can see, the oil is still at the proper level. Our oil change is now complete. We can close this back up and put this generator into operation. Here you go, 3 Honda generators running in parallel. Thanks for watching. This has been High Tech Lab. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.